Hello and welcome to another of my reflections based on the sexuality and gender survey that we've spoken about, and you can find other videos with the link to the survey in the Cross Stream Life forum in the playlist for this video. Today I'm picking up on one of those questions again and just offering my own reflection. As always, this is purely a personal view. It is not the right answer, as it were. And indeed, in terms of what I come up with, for me, it's probably just a partial answer. But perhaps this might trigger some thoughts for you, whether you disagree or otherwise. The question I'm picking up on today is number 3 on the survey. If relevant in your attraction to women or men, or both, or interest or curiosity in their appearance that you may project onto a woman or man, what bearing, if any, does your imagining that you could be her or him, or embody within yourself aspects of, firstly, dress and appearance, and secondly, a bodily sense of being him or her, or having what you perceive to be their embodied or sensual experience? So this, of course, may include projecting onto someone of the same sex that you were assigned at birth, such as in imagining yourself adopting the style of a fashion model. And when I came to think about this particular question, I was immediately drawn to think about a wonderful website, blogger's website, Femulate. I'll put the link for that website in the description for this video. It's a blog that's now been running for, I believe, well over 15 years, started by a lady called Stana, who's based, I believe, in Connecticut, certainly the eastern US. She often blogs about her experiences in that area as a radio ham and visiting conventions and other things. So there's a lot of interest in that blog. She coined this term, femulate, this idea of emulating femininity, feminine style, feminine look, a desire to emulate womanhood, if you like, in its outer expression, and perhaps also the inner feelings that come with that as much as is possible. So so-called femulators include anyone, really, I guess, on the trans spectrum, that kind of very broad banner, the cross dreamers, those who are trans women who've transitioned or want to transition, who feel themselves to be a woman in a man's body. But also it includes those that emulate femininity, perhaps for entertainment or other purposes. So on the website, in her blog, we'll find descriptions of, for example, womanless pageants, which are very common, particularly in parts of the USA amongst high school students, but also very prominently entertainers for various purposes taking on a feminine role. The focus very much with Femulate is not around larger than life caricature, as may be portrayed by some drag queens. It's very much about emulating femininity as convincingly as possible. So it's an admiration on the one hand, an appreciation for, let's say, feminine beauty, but also a desire to take that on board, embody it, or an inner sense that this is actually the way that you are, that you would want to be seen and express yourself. There are regular features on this blog that I find are really fascinating to look at. One is called Femulate Her, in which Stana offers images of women. Often they might be celebrities, for example, but also fashion models and others, perhaps modeling a style or a look that might trigger some desire, very much in the way that fashion models do, that we can project onto, perhaps seeing ourselves as wanting to adopt that style. And certainly some of those images really can resonate with me. Another feature she has is the Femulator, and this is where we see entertainers, participants in pageants, and a host of others, males, in other words, or those born in a male body, femulating. And there's also another category, which is the before and after, which she regularly features. So among some of the readers of her blog, amongst others, showing, profiling both a male picture and a picture of their feminine self as well, side by side. And showing both male and female images is something, that I personally like to play with as well, something I love doing, to show both sides, as you'll see from many examples on this channel, particularly in the Transformation Tuesday playlist. So all of those three categories I can find to be very inspiring, but as with anything, of course, there will be some that resonate more than others and some that don't resonate with me at all, some that I can't project onto, some I don't associate with. I can't actually get to the bottom of what it is that might attract me to some and not others, and perhaps that attraction may vary over time. But yes, in answer to this question, definitely in terms of wanting to emulate what I see in others in style, both in so-called cis, in other words, women born in a female body at birth, and also in some of the male to female portrayals, both can act as models for me. It's not just around dress and fashion and style either, but actually sometimes wanting to see myself in their skin, as it were, having some of the facial features, the hair, the legs, the breasts, the shape. They can all be aspects that I would want to emulate, to femulate. And indeed, when I cross-dress, those things, the shaping, the way that I'm looking, the facial features and so on, they all are important in what I try to create in a feminine portrayal as best I can. And in doing that, feeling comfortable with that presentation. Now, having said this, this interest is there a lot of the time for me. It's frequent. I wouldn't say it is constant, but it is certainly ongoing and regular. But at the same time, I would like, as it were, to have my cake and eat it. I know that's a criticism that's often put against some of us in the trans community. I would like the ability both to be able to present my femme self when I want to, but also, as it were, to be able to swap back into my male mode as well. As I make clear on this channel, I consider myself to be gender fluid, not someone who is seeking to transition, who feels that I'm a woman trapped in a man's body, but someone actually that wants from time to time to express both the woman within and the man within. So I think that says something about my own sexuality that is a little bit different from many others in the trans community. But do take a look at Femulate. It's a wonderful blog. Many interesting articles. Just browsing through the pages, you'll see some wonderful quotes, wonderful ideas. There are some guest bloggers on there who write some very interesting pieces, and an awful lot of images that now stretch, as I say, over many years. So great work, Stana. I'm sure, continue to be a regular visitor to that particular site.